Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the greatest non-human ever to live and his podcast. It's the Crown Cast. Hello and welcome people out there in the real world. Welcome to this second episode of what we now officially call it the Crown Cast, or just Crown Cast. It flows and it's beautiful, isn't it? I don't know. It's good. Ish. So, I really wanted to get this out earlier, but I already know it's not gonna be the time I want to because I ended up watching the Stanley Cup final and also watching Hazard playing Deadpool. But so the Stanley Cup is now officially done this season. Chicago Blackhawks won after beating the Bruins 4-2. And in the last game, Bruins was leading 2-1 with and they tied it up when it was 59 seconds to go, I think. Or it wasn't late in the third period. Bickle tied it up after they wanting it more. Let's be honest. They won the battle in the corner, and Taves made a great pass to Bickle, and Bickle put it in. And then directly, just 15-20 seconds later, after a shot from Uduya, Flick deflected it and hit the post, and Dave Boland made the game-winning goal that officially made them the champions. And overall, I think it's interesting to see this playoff because for me, Bruins choked that in the end. It was a team show. I mean, I can't blame Tukarask for any of the goals. It's the team playing in front of him didn't want it enough, because it's the whole final series. I thought Bruins with their that they could match in wanting the cup as much as Chicago, but and I thought it would be even more, but somewhere along the line I feel like Chicago wanted it more, and they took it. They didn't wait to see what would happen. They took the chance and won the cup. And also Patrick Kane played brilliantly in the finals, I must say. He really stepped up for his team. Taves also doing his duty to the team. They have some great leaders when they need to. And Crawford made his best game in the last game where they won. I mean, that's just... You need that things to happen. People need to step up in the right time. And... yeah, because compare that to Bruins wanted to win so much more than the Penguins. And then Chicago ended up wanting it much more than Bruins. So, but let's be honest, because of the season Chicago have had, they completely deserve it. And I mean, from the year before when Los Angeles barely made it through, and they hit their form perfectly and won the Stanley Cup as the 8th seed. I mean, that's a charm in itself, but did they deserve it? Heck no. They just because they made a great playoffs didn't mean they deserve it, in my opinion, and that's why I wanted them to lose. I knew that year that they would win the cup because they were so much better than everyone else, but that doesn't mean I wanted them to win. I wanted them to, or at least somebody play at their level. Nobody played at their level that season. And this season, at least, we had a Stanley Cup playoff that featured great matchups and great series. And so it was more even this season, which I like and I want. I want more teams to be there. But let's be honest, look at the final 4 team that was in the semifinals was the teams that won the cup the 4 years before this season. I mean, so it's just everyone had already won in the last 5 years, had won a cup, which is sad in itself because I thought by now we would have changed it up a little more. Vancouver's also in the mix for being at the top there, but yeah, I think more teams need to step up in the NHL. Can't be the same kind of team that just works in, because Chicago have proven in this playoff that you don't have to be a big body team like Bruins and have that kind of play style like Penguins. I mean, you can be a really, really good skilled team. Okay, they have some tough players like Bickle and Saad and Shaw, but it's not their main focus. I mean, just to look at how they won against Bruins. It's just yeah. I don't think I really have much more to say about this. Probably will talk more again when it's the draft, because I will watch the draft and tell you my opinions of it. Just because, and also probably trades and stuff. But I don't want to be this podcast focusing on hockey and stuff. So now we will move on, because can talk more about hockey. So yeah, I will do this subject directly. For fuck's sake, what has my town done to the fucking trafficking system? Oh my god, it's just, I'm so pissed about it. Literally, I think it was 1st of May. They decided to make the whole fucking city drive in 40 kilometers an hour. That's 25 miles per hour if you use mile system. It's so fucking slow to get around everywhere. Everyone is just, it's, the reasoning is, from the beginning we had in the middle of the center of the city, when you came into that that area, you would drive 40 kilometers an hour. That's totally acceptable. Everyone accepted that. But because it reduced the number of car crashes, now we're gonna apply that on the whole city. Someone needs to be slapped with a fish or steak. I will send them my penguins after them and polar bears. We will make them see the true light. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but it's just, it's so annoying. I can't even begin to understand why the fuck they would do this. I mean, I don't care what the reason is. You can't just apply something works in the middle of center. Just, oh, it's gonna be because they're putting road bumps everywhere and adding this and adding that you can only go 40 kilometers an hour. And we don't have that much of a car problem. It's a good amount of cars, but it's never really that much takes so long to drive anywhere. But now now everything traffic's gonna be like, oh, you wanna drive in the normal speed? No, fuck you. I missed. Every time I go outside, I missed. Some of the roads who are clearly built for 50 kilometers an hour. Just, this never ends. It's like a never-ending road. It's just, oh my god, come on, just let me go in 50 kilometers an hour. Please. I beg you, I beg you. It's something like that. It's just, I don't think I really need more to say about it. I mean, I just want to bring it up in front of all of you because it's fucking annoying. And I rant about it a lot. Okay, so now I feel like going to an article I saw someone tweeted out. It's 12-year-old girl in damn it, I forgot to write where in USA it was, but she was kicked off the football team. Now your American football stuff team. Did I say she was 12-year-old? I don't know. But she was kicked off the team, a boys team, because the boys started to having impure thoughts about her. And they have separate dressing rooms. But because the coach thought it was the best for her not to hear these things and stuff, even though they have not the same dressing room. So it was the best for the school if she didn't be allowed to play anymore, even though she was a starter from the year before. That's just, it's just fuck off. Seriously. Just let the bloody girl play, for fuck's sake. I mean, it's just, I will link the article in the description, but it's just, all these ideas people get. I mean, why not just lecture the bloody children, for fuck's sake? I mean, tell them to show some bloody respect. I mean, just letting the kids talk about it and don't, it's like, I can't take it, I can't listen to it, so I just going to kick her off the team. It's so unfair to something you don't like about the boys group and you punish the girl. That's just fucking stupid. And hope you should be able to coach. You could kick off, make it girls team, for fuck's sake. Kick off all the boys. No, but it should be equal. It's just like everything about all the gay marriage stuff and all that kinds of things. It's in the Bible. You can't be allowed to be with other men. Or girls can't be with other girls. Oh my god, you can't do that because someone wrote it fucking 2,000 years ago! Seriously! Why are you taking your stand from something that's written fucking 2,000 years ago. You can't fucking follow something Things change. Stuff change. Even then I didn't think that was right. But it's a 2,000 and you still... It's the same thing. It's always been... I mean, once in the Greeks and the Romans, they didn't care from the beginning until they found Jesus and everything like that. Then someone wrote about it. We don't even know if Jesus really wanted it himself, saying, because in my mind Jesus would be more like, we treat everyone equal. Isn't that the message basically from Jesus? So why the fuck would he hate on... I haven't read the Bible, so excuse me if not knowing. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but it's just... I've said before this, but I was trying to get not being so into this sort of thing. But it's like most things are so... it's changing that nature of you because some people don't like it. It's just... think about it. The person who wrote the Bible, they could possibly have added in stuff themselves. The possibility that they didn't just talk about or saying everything is these stories about God and stuff. They could have just added in stuff themselves. We can't know that. So even if you believe that it's that God is true and everything like that, then yeah, you wouldn't know if that's correct or not, because God hasn't spoken to you, have he? It would be fucking amazing if just... Mark Crown, what are you doing? I'm like, oh my god, he's trying to kill me. Run! Sort of like that. Yeah, so we're getting... One thing I would like to say is it's the same thing, like it's always rooted. Everyone is gonna have that kind of opinion. It's a matter if they get their opinions heard and get that into law. Like the Bible is like the law, so you get that believe into that. If you think about it, it's all those commandments, like having millions of trillions commandments in it. It's like almost you want to find, you would set up, it's like a law book. And it's a religious law book of stuff you shouldn't and should do. So everyone is like that. It's like, I will implement my law. It's the word of God. And I'm gonna disappear so you can never dispute me. And also stuff like that, it's always rooted in... It's like Hitler's killing all the Jews. He also killed gays. He also killed disabled. He killed a lot of... It's just mostly Jews because Germany had mostly Jews. But the thing is about it is it's Jews, what they were deep-seated that believed that they were not equal since the Middle Ages. There's basically, they were only allowed to work with money. I don't think it was one more thing, but there was money. They only had to, like accountants and stuff. They were only allowed to have banks and that sort of stuff. I mean, that's kind of, and that's stuck through all the ages. That with some people it was deep seated that they didn't think they were equal. So Hitler just used his own opinions. But we are not going to talk more about this. This wasn't what I planned. Let's just take a completely different topic. I'm gonna talk about some TV shows. Yes, because that's the great segment there. We're talking about Hitler and we segment that over to talk about cancelled TV shows. What I'm going to talk about, because I'm going to talk about a little bit the opinions of these TV shows that I think that got cancelled. I wanted. I'm going to say in the future, all the shows I watch, it's going to be a fucking long list because I watch too much stuff. Anyway, so because recently they have said which shows are cancelling for next season of TV shows. That's in autumn. So the first one have been for a while cancelled. It's Alphas, and it's on the Sci-Fi Channel. I'm not. Screw it. I'm not gonna even attempt to know what channels they were on in the. It was the same channel that has had Eureka and Warehouse 13 and that all of stuff. Alphas was a interesting take on the evolution. They were like mutants sort of stuff. They got all their abilities like super strength. Gary had some. He could like see the internet. He could see all the waves. He could just tap into them how much he wanted. It's just a weird ability, and one of them had a perfect accuracy, but if he got a little bit stressed, it affected him. That sometimes if he got emotional or stuff, it's just a girl who had super smell, which is fucking annoying. She had super hearing as well. I think her senses were all heightened, but that's also becomes really problematic because there's so many smells that we real people can't really smell and that sort of stuff. Every one of them, I can go on and on about all abilities, but so they were used in some sort of task force to capture other alphas that they were called. Everyone who had abilities was called alphas. So, and there was a group who hated on the government and was led by a guy who could never die, which is just it's all those people who have never died and lived for like many hundreds of years eventually just become more and more sadder and gives up on life really to an extent really, because seeing so many of the ones you love die and all of that must be, and also seeing the government stuff and how they neglect your people or all the you will end up just seeing bad things usually, and then you take a stand to the government like he did, and yeah, so that show was cancelled. Did I think it was correct? Uh, because it had an average season, they just cancel it. I mean, that's just, if you don't have the strength as like supernatural, even though they had, I think it was season 7 that was just horrendously bad, but they get the second chance because enough people still watch it, even though, because they're so quick to cancel some things, should be canceling that. I mean, it just boggles my mind. Like Gossip Girl last season, I watched it because it was so fucking bad. I mean, the writers must be like, we're just gonna write some la 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 la. They were not even caring. They're like, fuck this shit. We're just gonna make it as bad as possible, because especially the last episode, it's just oh my god, it's just so fucking bad. Sorry for it's just, watch bad television, watch last season of Gossip Girl. So CSI New York was cancelled, which was a little bit surprising, because the CSI New York is so much different, it's kind of styling and feeling like, and than like the CSI, the original one, and the Miami one. In my opinion, the Miami one hadn't really anything. I understood completely what that was cancelled, because it was cancelled a year before, because it wasn't the characters. It's relying on you having great characters in those shows and great dynamic and everything. That was it relies on. So it only had Horatio. The rest of the people in that was boring as fuck or annoying. Boa Vista, I could fucking shoot her in the head. When there's a scene, I think it's middle of last season, she's stuck in the trunk of a car. I was literally, come on, kill her, kill her. I was shouting at that screen, and then someone, I don't remember who, came and saved her. I'm like saying, fuck no! Why couldn't you just have killed that bloody character off? Basically, that character made me not want to watch that bloody show. It's so fucking annoying. Come on. You can do better characters than that. Okay, so CSI New York. I watched it a couple times. Not my... I didn't like it, but I know many people did, and my mother used to watch it. She liked it, so yeah, it had its run. I think the real CSI will probably only get one more year, or something like that, because I honestly don't think they can do much more with that series. I feel like they should move on and do something different. It's just my opinion. Okay, so this one I'm gonna show is much more interesting for me, because I really liked this show. Matthew Perry, who played in Friends, played the lead role in this one. Go On is it called, and it was about a support group for people who had lost somebody to lost their wives and that kind of stuff. And so it's about I don't remember what he's called in it, but he's Matthew Perry. His guy, he have lost his wife, and he's a radio host to talk about sports, and his I think its name is King. I don't remember. That's how good I'm keeping track of things. So, but he got to rage fit and literally like mental break down on the air. So they sent him to this support group with great characters and psychologists who have as much problem nearly as the other people in the group, and it was a real great show, and what I could tell, it had good ratings as well, but they decided to cancel it, which is, I feel so bad for Matthew Perry, because it was a really good show and it deserved more than one season. I could see this going like 3 seasons. I mean, I don't really like why they cancel it. It's just, maybe he went into rehab again. I hope not. That would be sad, because maybe he ends up doing it after this turning out to be cancelled again, because he did some one that was about an arena, and that wasn't a good show, but this one was. So I feel really bad for him, I must say. And I'm just talking about shows that I watch. There are other shows that I got cancelled, obviously. So don't trust the bitch in Apartment 23. I liked that show, but like any comedy show, it's difficult to have like consistency is the word I'm looking for. And it had great episode, it also had dreadful episode, and in the end some people in the higher ups in that didn't like it at all, and was gunning for it all I mean, the last couple of episodes went off on the internet. They didn't even put it out on TV, which is just weird, because there's so many more bad shows, and that show wasn't that bad. So yeah, not much more to talk about that one. Golden Boy, which they tried something that usually never works, and that was it's about a guy who becomes commissioner in New York, and you get to see, it's like in 7 years he will get to become commissioner. He become the youngest commissioner. Here is his story. So you get to see, first of all, snippets in the beginning and the end of it from the future. So you know he's going to live. You know some stuff that's going to happen future on in this show. That's why I hate, it's so hard, especially if you're a writer. It limits you like fuck. I didn't think you could maybe be a story about him. You can know that he becomes the commissioner, but I mean, you don't have to show and talk about stuff in the future, because then you know that I'm gonna talk about his father is in prison in the future. You know that his partner's dead, and another of his rival at the detective is also dead, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, and I also think his wife is dead. It was unclear that it's just, you know what's bits and pieces what's going to happen. That's just, it takes all the fun out of it, and that's why it ended up getting even though I watched every episode of it, I kind of like it, but I understand why people was turned off to it. So This may be one of the biggest cans of all, and that's happy endings. Great comedy, and but like all comedies, it's going to, some people is going to think it's funny, some people are not gonna find it funny. That's like, because all the people who don't find it funny says, oh, it's so fucking overrated, and the people that like it, really, it's such an underrated show. I mean, it's so hard, you can't cater to everyone with comedy, and that's why comedy shows rarely last if you don't get the hype for it, like Big Bang Theory, Two and a Half Men. I mean, Happy Endings never got the hype for it. Never got people, the show Community, same thing. It's popular by some crowds, but it's not getting to many people. Not that many people are watching it, but the people who do really, really love it. So, I mean, because like me, for me, 30 Rock is overrated because I don't find that one funny at all. But I can accept that so many people find it funny, and it's also in America because I think it's much more American humor. So, it's not for me, that show. I didn't watch The Office as well. It's not for me, that show. So, and I can completely accept everyone who watch it. That's just it. And Rules of Engagement finally comes to close. I don't feel like I really want to talk. I used to watch it in the beginning, but comedy shows, I watched them for a while. It depends. Happy Endings I watched every episode of because I really like it. Two and a Half Men I have watched every episode. Why, I don't know, but well, I feel like it at least got back a little bit to its core. Now with I think it needed getting Walden, Smith, Ashton Kutcher. I think they needed to do something like that because otherwise it would be cancelled by now. And the last show I have written down is The New Normal because that was a weird fucking show. It was about a gay couple that was going to have a surrogate mother. And that surrogate mother was weird. And the kid she had was weird, and she had a weird mother. Just fucking weird show. Watched some of it, but people eventually didn't like it that much because it was bloody weird what it was. So, I think there's more shows that's been cancelled or aiming to close their series soon, like Where Are 13 is on the last season, and the other shows like that coming too close. So, it's almost 30 minutes long, this podcast. So, yeah, I was, before I end this off, I was just pointing out my classmate is having an Indiegogo campaign for his movie. Wow, it's called Jumping in the Fields in English. And it's just, I will say this straight out, it's gonna be so bad. I want people to get somehow getting interested and start donating and make it happen, because it would be so funny to watch that movie. It's gonna be so, if he makes it good, I will literally travel to him and apologize directly and say it was brilliant or good movie. But the likelihood of it is not much. I will put down the link for Indiegogo down in the description, but yeah. So it ended up being 40 minutes again. because me talking about TV shows took longer than I expected. So, I hope you have enjoyed this. Me talk about so many different things. I think I need to timestamp this one much more. The other one was much harder to timestamp, yeah, I have lots more topics to talk about. The next one will be coming out either tomorrow or Thursday, depending on what people feel like me putting it out. So I will see what's happened. I have a lot of more topics to talk about, and I will do that then. So, as always, I'm Mark Crown. I didn't even say that at the beginning, but it's called Mark Crown Stories. You can just tell by the name. It's been a lovely show as usual. You can find me on Twitter at Mark Crown Story. And yeah, I think that's it. So, thanks guys for taking an enjoyment of this thing, and I will see you guys some other time. Bye.